Today I'm going to be giving you 10 hacks that you can use in your own garden and that work very, very well. And chances are you already have these items hanging around the house or about to throw them away or recycle them. And they work very well in the garden and for various uses. So stick with me today and I'll show you what those things are. Let's dive in. Number one on my list are chopsticks. They are great for takeout. We've all seen and probably used them before. They're the perfect size to use for seedlings in your garden. And when the seedlings are flopping over everywhere and you have more planted than you probably really want before you thin them out, it's a great way to clip them up and increase airflow until they get big enough where you can decide which ones are strong enough to keep. And you just clip them on these little chopsticks and they are free. And I just wash them and then put them out in the garden and they last a very long time. I have had some since last year. And I use them to clip things even out in the garden before they're big enough to put on trellises. They have many great various uses and last a long time in your garden. Number two is ladder mesh block. I buy it at Home Depot. You can buy it in various lengths, 6 feet, 8 feet, and you can use as an arch and anchor down by containers on each end and plant various climbing, vining plants, even in an enclosure like I have here. On this side, I am growing butternut squash, which is vining. I reinforced it with a pole, so it just gives a little extra strength. And there are various vines planted in this container, which you can handle because it's a very large container. And it climbs and I just clip it as it grows. These are zip ties that I have anchored them together with. The two ends I gather and then pull them together as tightly as I can with zip ties. And then I put another bamboo pole in between because this is a really large arch and reinforce it. It's a great idea for vining plants in the garden. And next, number three, I have seedling peat pots that I use for just about all of my seeds that I plant. Any kind of seed, whether it's lettuce, cabbages, tomatoes, peppers, beans, whatever you want to plant. It's especially useful because you can plant the whole pot out as soon as the seedlings are big enough and you decide which ones you want to keep after thinning them out. Keep the strongest ones and then plant this whole pot after digging a hole right inside your garden, and it will degrade over time. And that way the roots do not get disturbed and you're not having to pop them out of another container or a plastic container. They come in stacks on Amazon and they are super useful in the garden. Like I said, use them for everything. Next on my list is number 4, garlic chive pest control is what I call it. I plant tons of garlic chives, which are super easy to grow. They are great to put in all sections of your gardens. I give them a haircut every now and then and clip them off. And right here, I have a last cucumber holding on for the season that has some damage to the leaves, but it's still producing. So in order to keep the pests and the moths and the worm-laying moths away from my cucumbers as they come out, I put these chives all over. I drape it wherever there's a little flower or even a hint of that a cucumber fruit might be coming out. I lay it right next to that, and these smell very, very, very strong. They have a strong scent that pests do not like, and it kind of masks where the actual cucumbers are coming out so that it confuses the moths and the pests that want to get to your fruit. It has worked very, very well for me. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be getting cucumbers without tons of wormholes in them at this point in the season. So this is a very effective tool against pests that want to get a hold of your fruit and lay worms and destroy your fruit for the summer. So this works very well. Definitely try to grow garlic chives and interplant them through your garden, and then use the extra cuttings to dissuade bad pests. Number 5 on my list are plastic berry containers. I take them because various times that I can't grow berries during the year, I buy some from the store. I keep the old containers and I wash them and then cut them up and I plant them out. And whenever I plant direct sow this time of year, the squirrels or whatever little varmints seem to want to get to my seeds. These are cowpeas. They want to dig them up and eat them. So this is the way that I protect them. And I put a rock over the top, and they can still get airflow and sun because they're clear containers. These are free. You normally have some around the house. I use them for beans as well. And then when they get to be a certain size, I just take these off. It's just mostly when they're the seeds that I put into direct sow and as they grow. And then once they're an inch or two tall, then the squirrels don't seem to be interested in them anymore. So then I take the domes off. They can still get water and airflow and sun this way. And these are free containers. I just put a rock over the top, like I said, so that they don't get knocked off. And they work very well. Next on my list are mesh fruit bags, number 6. These work great if you want to cover your fruit at any stage so that they don't get the stink bugs that suck the juice out of your fruits once they get sweet and ripe and red or orange. They seem to go after the tomatoes. I don't cover those, but I do cover my peppers this time of year, only half of them because some of them I harvested in an earlier stage, but the ones that I want to turn nice and sweet and that take quite a while, if I don't want the bugs to get to them, I just tie these bags on and let them ripen and the bugs can't get to them, and I can just harvest them whenever I'm ready. You could either pull them off or just cut them off, and they're reusable. These are fantastic. I definitely recommend them. And number 7 on the list are bee houses. These are fairly inexpensive. You could probably even make these yourself if you had the time and a little imagination. They seem like they're fairly simple as far as the construction of them. I purchased these on, I think it was Amazon, a couple of different places, and one was at a farmer's market. And the bees love them. They overwinter in there. They're flying in and out of there all day. They live in there, and they protect the things that are most vulnerable in my garden that I really want to protect. And I plant them next to my pepper and my tomato beds, and they keep a lot of the pests away. And then I didn't have a tremendous amount of pest pressure this year, mostly just fungus. So these are very, very effective. Plus, they are super cute. You could probably even paint them, and the bees would probably love the color as long as it was bee-friendly paint. So add these to your garden. They work great. And number 8 on the list is pet bedding mulch. I decided to use this because I had tried hay as mulch in the past, and I wasn't very happy with it because it left me with grass and weeds and various things growing in the beds after the hay would start to break down. So I wanted to switch to something cleaner per se. So I tried pet bedding, and it's safe for pets and for food, and it covers your whole bed. It makes little flakes. It's pretty light, so it's easy to work with. And when it does break down, it does feed your soil, and it is fantastic for keeping the beds moist. So I would highly recommend this. You can get it at Ace or Home Depot. Usually Tractor Supply carries it, and it's not super expensive. You can get it on sale in bulk sometimes, certain times a year. So I definitely would suggest using this as mulch in your garden. So as you can hear that beeping noise, this is a deterrent for moles. I was having a mole problem in 2 of my lower beds, and it keeps them out of the bed itself wherever you place these beepers. As you see here, I have moles and they're outside the bed here, but at least they're not inside my beds anymore. I really didn't want to kill the moles. These are solar powered and they can be turned on and off, and they're also waterproof, so you don't have to take them out before you water your garden, but they do work. It allowed me to get the moles out of where I actually have my plants in the beds and not have to set any traps, because I do have cats and things that roam around, and I don't want to hurt any other animals or the moles really. I just want to keep them out of my plant bed. So you can just move these around wherever you need them, and they're very portable, they're very affordable. They were, I think, $20 for 4 of them, and it's super affordable as far as I can see. And I've had these for over a year and they're still going strong, and I just move them around wherever I need them. And I would highly recommend them if you are interested in getting rid of moles in your garden. And number 10, I use milk and vinegar containers. I cut the bottom off here. As you see, I can mark it with a marker and then cut around the edge. And I use vinegar most of the time because those containers are a little more sturdy and strong than the milk containers are. And I just wash them out and then cut it, put it in my garden, and I can use it as a scoop for anything, either compost or liquid, because it's waterproof and it won't leak. And it's very useful to have in the garden for dirt or any other uses you might need to use them for. As you can see, with a little imagination, there are a lot of things that you have hanging around the house and things you could use in the garden that you possibly never thought of before. And if you think outside the box, you can come up with some pretty creative ideas. So if you have any ideas I haven't mentioned here today, please mention them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate you spending this time with me. And until next time, happy gardening.